Welcome back. Part 2 of my lecture presentation in FB134 Agroforestry Farming Systems. For this session, our objectives is for you to understand and appreciate the various agroforestry farming systems and their importance, and to gain insights for a possible system or systems that can be adapted in your ongoing or future farm enterprise. Going back to the definition of agroforestry, it is the land use system in which agricultural crops and or livestock and forest trees are raised on the same land either sequentially through rotational use or simultaneously, salitan o magkasabay. The trees that are being planted in agroforestry are used in producing wood pulps. Pulps are the main ingredients in the production of papers and cardboards and similar products. Also, the trees are utilized in producing fiber boards. Fiber boards are used in various purposes. They are used in furnitures, in building houses, like in the ceiling, walls, and in insulating the houses. Also, the trees are utilized in producing timbers, or commonly known as lumber. So lumbers are being used for various purposes. Also, the trees that are being utilized in agroforestry are used in producing electric poles. Let's proceed now to the agroforestry practices. To start with, let's have the riparian buffer. Riparian buffer can be seen in areas where there are streams or creeks or water reservoirs. The riparian buffer are natural or enhanced vegetation from the edge of the stream bank out through the riparian zone. So here we have the stream channel, the riparian buffer, and the riparian area, and the uplands. The uplands are the actual area or field where agricultural crops are being produced, or where animals are being raised. Riparian buffer are vegetative zone that serves as a buffer to pollutants entering a stream from runoff. It controls erosion and provides habitat and nutrient input into the stream. A relatively undisturbed riparian zone supports a robust stream system. Narrow riparian zones occur when roads, parking lots, fields, lawns, bare soil, rocks, or buildings are near the stream banks. Residential developments like this one, urban centers, golf courses, and rangelands are the common causes of anthropogenic degradation of the riparian zone. When we say anthropogenic, it has the involvement or influence of the society. Riparian buffer is the most valuable protection a stream system has against outside influences. Enhancement of the riparian buffer by replanting native grasses, forbs, shrubs, and trees is the first step in the recovery of the stream back to a more natural condition. Forbs are flowering herbaceous plants aside from grasses. The benefits of the riparian buffer is that it provides organic material as food for invertebrate, fish, and wildlife. It also supplies large and small pieces of woody debris that provide habitat for fish, invertebrate, and amphibians. It can also give us firewoods. A riparian buffers, or the trees in the riparian buffer, alters how sunlight reaches the stream and is an important temperature moderator, because we all know that today the intensity of heat, or the temperature today is quite intense, especially during summer. So the trees stabilizes stream banks and reduces erosion. So imagine if you have trees as big as this tree in a stream bank, and given this robust and intensive extensive root system, so an soil erosion is unlikely to happen. Also, riparian buffer filters sediment and materials from overland runoff, and roots of many plants traps and holds the sediments. It absorbs nutrients from overland and subsurface flows. It reduces the impacts of flooding through temporary storage, interception, and slow releases from heavy rains. This is an example of a water reservoir. This is the water reservoir of the South Point Golf Club in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, in the United States. You can see here the riparian buffer, these trees, and also on this side. So this reservoir supplies the irrigation water that the golf course needs. South Point Golf Club, in my estimate, is about 100 hectares. So this is a good picture of a riparian buffer. So you can see here the riparian buffer, the trees. We have here our stream channel and our agricultural fields. Next, we have the windbreak. So windbreaks are linear plantings of trees and shrub designed to provide economic, environmental, and community benefits. The primary purpose of most windbreaks is to slow the wind, which creates a more beneficial condition for soils, crops, livestock, wildlife, and people. Windbreaks are commonly planted in hedgerows around the edges of the fields on farms. Windbreaks, sometimes called shelter belts, can also function in ways not related to wind reduction. Non-wind related purposes include shade and shelter for livestock. For example, here under the shade, our animals or the animals can find comfort, especially during the hottest hour of the day. So it can also serve as recreational opportunities and wood and non-timber forest products. Windbreaks have also been recognized for their value in providing ecosystem services, which often extend beyond the farm. So even the areas that are far from the windbreaks can be benefited. For example, here you have your pollinators. Of course, the farms, the nearby farms can be benefited by the bees living in your windbreaks. Here in this image, we can see that the windbreaks are very much established, and I am pretty sure that the crops inside the windbreaks are quite secured and safe during days where the winds are blowing hard, or during rainy days or windy days. So the benefits of having your windbreaks is that you can reduce your energy costs. It can enhance biodiversity. It can screen unsightly areas. For example, if your farm is quite messy and unorganized, so the people outside cannot see what's happening or what's inside your farm. Also, it can reduce soil erosion and pesticide drift. It can manage snow in temperate areas. It can improve irrigation use. It can increase crop yield, mitigate odor and dust, provide wildlife habitat. It can enhance aesthetics, can sequester carbon, which is very important in mitigating climate change. It can protect the quality of the soil and your soil and water, and also it can serve as habitat for our pollinator, our bees. In establishing your windbreak, the trees can be planted in a single or double rows near the fence line and within the orchard. Rows must be oriented perpendicular to wind direction, nakasangga sa hangin. The first and last rows should be short to medium, tall ones at the middle rows. So this is how to plan your windbreak. So in the front, you are going to utilize short plant species. In between the center line, you must plant the tall and robust tree species, and of course in between the tall and the short plant species are your medium height plant species. So this is designed in order for you to maximize your purpose. This formation will decrease the intensity of the wind. For example, if the velocity of the wind is 50 kilometers per hour and the height of your tallest trees are 10 meters, so you multiply it by 20, it is the distance of the area that you can protect. So it's if the height is 10 meters, so you have a coverage, you can have a protected area coverage of about 200 meters. So in establishing your windbreaks, the characteristics of a good windbreak tree, they must be strong and has extensive root system. They must have a strong branches and twigs. They must be tall with a dense canopy, and of course they must be fast growing. So let's proceed now with the trees that we can use in establishing our windbreak. The first one is the pili tree, Canarium obatum. I personally recommend this tree because aside from protecting your crops, which is the primary purpose, is it can give you extra income. The nuts from the trees are quite expensive, and then you can derive other products out of your harvest. So you can produce pili oil and other beauty regimens. The timber or the wood of a pili tree is quite hard. Second tree is the tamarind. So like the pili nut, The tamarind are also like it's a multi-purpose tree. Aside from a windbreak, it can give you income out of its fruits, and you can process the fruits into several products like tamarind jam, chutney, and juices, and a lot more. Also, tamarind has medicinal properties. Next is cotton fruit. Cotton fruit is santol. Yes, the English name of santol is cotton fruit. So we all know that santol trees are heavy fruiter, or they are um, heavy fruiting. So you can have lots of santol fruits in just a tree, and in establishing a windbreak, it consists of a rows of trees. So let's say you have 100 santol trees, so you can have as much as extra much more extra income out of it. So, and also you can process the fruits like this one, dehydrated santol, ginataang santol, gulay na santol. This is very popular in Bicol region, and then you can produce your santol cider vinegar. Then we have the mulabe. How I wish to share with you a clear picture of what a mulabe is, but unfortunately wasn't able to find one in the internet. So perhaps we can request your classmates from Bulalakaw to share with us a clear picture of a mulabe tree. So meron pa sa part ng Mansalay and Bulalakaw. So hopefully they can share with us some clear picture of a mulabe tree. Then we have mahogany. So mahogany is quite popular here in the Philippines. Only I have an issue with the mahogany trees because mahogany are not endemic to the Philippines. Yes, they are introduced species. Probably they are brought here by the Americans, and they mahoganies can grow very fast, but they are quite invasive, or they can outperform our endemic or native tree species, because mahoganies, they have a very effective way of disseminating their seeds because of its structure. So they are lightweight and can be carried by wind for long distances. Then we have aguho, or pine trees. Unfortunately, wala akong masyadong nakikita dito sa south. In Victoria, kaya lang hindi ganon karami. So I hope we can find a nursery that produces aguho. I don't know, parang sa DNR parang wala masyado. And then we have the bamboo. So bamboo are really a really good windbreak, but the bamboo, mind you, bamboo is not a tree, but still we can use them. Bamboo is the world's tallest grass, and of course they have bamboo poles have plenty of uses. For the medium height tree species, We can use kakawate, ipil-ipil, guyabano, lansones, mapolo, katuray, mango. MPTS stands for multi-purpose tree species. For the short tree species or short plant species, we can use chaang gubat, cacao, calamansi, centauris, pomelo, lemon, gumamela, santan, and the likes. We can also use rinsone, plemenja, madre de agua, and indigo. These four, together with cacahuate and ipil-ipil, they are MPTS because they are commonly utilized as feed ingredient and as fodder, FODDER, fodder for our animals. Next is forest farming. Forest farming is the intentional manipulation, integration, and intensive management of woodlands under a managed forest canopy to produce non-timber products. So forest farming is a good alternative in the slash for alternative for the slash and burn farming system o yung kaingin. So kaingin or slash and burn farming system is quite destructive, and it is very bad to the environment. It is a contributor to the to climate change, to global warming. So this one, it is one of the best alternative for the kaingin system. So there are lots of plant species that can tolerate or require shades, like bell pepper, black pepper, lanzones, and here are the list of some of the shade loving or shade tolerant crops. We have ginger, taro, taro esgabi, alogbate, cucumber, lettuce, celery, cabbage, talinum, carrots, Irish potato, and many more. So the benefits of forest farming is that it improves the economic value of existing forests. It will diversify your income from timber, vegetable, fruits, handicrafts, medicinal plants, and herbs. Of course, it can increase your cash flow because of the diversified income. It reduces energy costs. The biodiversity is enhanced, and it reduces soil erosion. It increases crop yield, provides wildlife for habitat. It can also sequester atmospheric carbon or carbon dioxide, which is a contributor to global warming. It can protect the quality of our soil and water, and also it is a good habitat for our pollinators. Next is alley cropping. Alley cropping is the growing of annual or perennial crop simultaneously in the alleyways between rows of long-term tree crop. The agricultural crop generates annual income while the longer tree crop matures. So the difference between alley cropping and forest farming is that your cash crops or your annual crops in the alley systems, or the space for your annual crops, are wider, and it is in the open field between the hedges of trees. So in the forest farming, the your annual crops are planted the under the canopy. So the benefits of alley cropping is that your crops are protected because the tree crops and the alley cropping also serves as windbreaks. It can diversify your farm enterprise, thereby increasing your cash flow. It reduces your energy costs. It enhances biodiversity. It improves nutrient utilization, reduces soil erosion, increases crop yield, enhance wildlife habitat. Also, it can sequester carbon and can also protect soil and water quality, and it improves aesthetics. Then we have silvopasture. Silvopasture is an agroforestry practice that integrates livestock, forage production, and forestry on the same land management. Silvopasture systems are deliberately designed and managed to produce a high-value timber product in the long term while providing short-term annual economic benefit from a livestock component through the management of forage or an annual crop component. So in a silvopasture, we can raise almost all of the farm animals like sheep, goats, poultry, swine, cattle, water buffaloes, horses, and any animal that you want to integrate in your system. The benefits of practicing silvopasture is that it can improve your overall economic performance, or it can improve the economic performance of a farm enterprise through diversification. It maintains biodiversity, it maintains or increases tree growth, it improves cool season grass production, it allows warm season grass production with careful canopy management, it provides shade for livestock, it aids in erosion control, it increases wildlife populations, it improves water quality and water holding capacity, it increases opportunities for recreation, enhances aesthetics and property values. So kung nabitin kayo sa silvopasture, you don't have to worry because I will have another presentation solely for silvopasture. Here in this image is that you can see that all of the agroforestry farming practices are present. So if you are lucky enough to inherit a vast area of land from your lolo or from your lola or from your parents, then you can apply all of the agroforestry farming practices, or you can collaborate with your neighboring farms to benefit each other, like a symbiotic relationship, to give and take. So if you cannot practice all of the agroforestry farming practices, at least 2 or 3, and your neighboring farm will practice the other 2 or 3, thereby benefiting both of you and the other farms close to you, and of course it can benefit the environment as a whole. So here you can see the alley cropping, the riparian forest, you have the short rotation woody crops, the silvopasture, and the windbreaks, and the forest farming. So good luck with the midterm examination, and keep posted for the upcoming lectures.